Is RMC going bankrupt? Recently, I made a video explaining why the future of RMC depends on Jersey Devil. Now, I still believe that to be 100% true, but today I'm going to predict the future of RMC without Jersey Devil in the picture. RMC started out working for Six Flags to help revive Texas Giant, a wooden coaster at Six Flags over Texas. They came up with a perfect invention and decided to add steel track to it, allowing for a few inversions and an overall awesome experience. Six Flags was so satisfied with the job RMC did that they went on to hire them to do the same to many other of their Woodies that were getting old, turning them into world-class coasters. It took a while for the industry to catch on, but pretty soon everyone was buzzing about RMC. Since then, Herschend has worked with them, Cedar Fair worked with them, SeaWorld worked with them, independent parks worked with them, and even parks abroad worked with them. It was a cheap way to turn old wooden coasters into some of the world's best. So why wouldn't everyone want an RMC? But even though Six Flags was the first to work with RMC, they haven't converted any new coasters since 2017. Why is that? Well, you might say it's because Six Flags already converted all the coasters that needed to be converted. That simply isn't true. You have Predator at Darien Lake, the Boss at St. Louis, and another one at Six Flags America. Though these are smaller parks that Six Flags doesn't love, why wouldn't they RMC the old Woodies at these parks? It would be a cheap way to turn an old ride into a standout coaster that people would travel miles to come and ride. Another reason you may give me as to why Six Flags didn't convert any new coasters with RMC is because the Raptors came out and Six Flags thought the Raptor was a better way to spend their money getting a brand new coaster for a lot cheaper than most other manufacturers charge for a regular coaster. But I don't think that's the reason either. I think that the reason Six Flags stopped working with RMC on wooden coasters was because RMC became too expensive for them. You see, when RMC was small, Six Flags was able to contact them for very low amounts to build coasters for them. But once the demand went up, RMC was able to raise their prices, and at that point, Six Flags decided to leave RMC. But then the Raptor came out, offering a new cheap experience from the same company. So Six Flags decided to go with that. The future of RMC is very split. On the one hand, you have the future of RMC in terms of their hybrids and iBox coasters, and on the other hand, there's the future of RMC in terms of their Raptors. In my other video, I explained that the success of Jersey Devil would prove the success of the Raptor model, likely leading it to take off. But what about the hybrids? Since so many old Woodies were already converted, there aren't that many left really. RMC's business in the hybrid area is certainly dwindling. But that's not my biggest concern. If RMC decides to raise the price of the Raptor like they did the hybrid, they may end up losing a ton of potential business from the largest amusement park chain in the world, Six Flags. Another concern I have is the fact that Cedar Fair hasn't worked with them in a few years already. They are currently working with SeaWorld, but who knows if that will last. Is RMC headed to bankruptcy? I think the answer to that is a huge no. Let me explain. RMC only raised the prices to their hybrids because they were below the average price regular coaster manufacturers would charge for a coaster like that. Since they were new, they had low prices because otherwise parks wouldn't be willing to take a first-time risk with them. Once RMC became a reliable name, they were able to raise their prices to match the standard rates in the industry. If that's true, then the Raptor's price probably won't be raised, as it's probably already the regular price. The Raptor models are made to be cheaper, using less steel than other steel coasters from other manufacturers. So where does that leave RMC? I think RMC is headed into a really bright future. They have the Raptor model and hopefully the T-Rex, and I don't think Intamin's Hot Racer will give them much trouble selling a bunch of Rapids to Six Flags and Cedar Fair and other parks of the US. Their hybrid conversions may slow down a lot, but SeaWorld has only worked with them once for Iron Gwazi, and after how successful it promises to be, I think they will go for a ground-up RMC at Busch Gardens Williamsburg next. They may decide to convert more coasters or move to the Raptor model. Holiday World could also potentially work with RMC down the line when some of their Woodies start getting really old. RMC could turn those monster Woodies into #1 coasters that will last for decades more. RMC also has a future with the T-Rex model and the regular wooden coaster market, and who knows if they have other models in store for the future. In conclusion, I think RMC will continue to dominate the industry for the next decade at least, and I think they will wow us with some of the best coasters ever, maybe even new coaster models somewhere down the line. I don't think they will be going bankrupt right now, and as long as they release new affordable models every few years, they can stay in business forever just from Six Flags buying a million clones from them. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I really hope parks like Hershey Park start working with RMC, and I'd love to see SeaWorld install a bunch more coasters from them. Six Flags will no doubt purchase a bunch more, and I think it will be a few years. But I think Cedar Fair will go back to RMC once the T-Rex comes out. What do you think? Will RMC go bankrupt? Let me know in the comments.